Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your ever-loving host, Shorty, and I'm doing what might be the first of two video reviews today, because a lot of stuff's come out, and there's two big releases this week, and I kind of want to get the drop on them, just so anyone who's searching for them can get a review straight away. First big one, BRZRKR, or Berserker, as it's correctly known. There's probably a few of you out there who don't know why this is such a big deal. Scooch that in there and see if you can guess why. Yes, that's right, folks. Long-time comic book fan Keanu Reeves, famously huge into comic books, is finally doing his own comic book. And to be fair, it's not just him. He's got Matt Kindt writing it as well. Matt Kindt is an excellent writer. He's done some brilliant bits of crime with some weird twists to them, which are always worth checking out. Fear Case at the moment is already on second printings, so yeah, check him out just on his own. So you kind of probably can't help but feel, what does Keanu Reeves bring to this? I mean, other than the fact that him being involved means it can make the main character, the Berserker, look exactly like him, or as much as possible to do within the confines of comic book artwork. And maybe he threw in some of his more John Wick-esque kind of moments, stuff that he basically would have liked to have seen himself do on screen, but couldn't because of limitations of budget and special effects and various other things. So what we have here is the story of an immortal killer who may or may not be a god, but was born tens of thousands of years ago, cannot die, and is sent in by what I assume to be the US government. But I don't assume. I remember thinking at the beginning, this better be the US government. He's really telegraphing it. You get to the end, and yes, it is the US government. Sending him into other countries to get rid of despots and the like. Straight off the bat, I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is going to be interesting, because there's actually a long and storied history of the United States doing that. And to be honest, there's some problematic things going involved there too. So I'm kind of curious where that's going to go. And I thought, from the look of it, the over-the-top action sequences, the testosterone-heavy guys in body armor jumping out of helicopters to murder people, that it was going to more focus on the action stuff. I'd like to say that when I got to the end of it, I was pleasantly surprised, though. There was moments in there which led me to think that this is not going to just be a simple black and white story. And also, it's not just going to have that one little bit of grey in there, which is the guy going, well, actually, maybe I'm the bad guy for joining these guys. I think they have layered it quite nicely. So you're going to get some reveals that are going to explain a lot of the background, because there's a lot going on in this comic book, a lot more than I had the time to tell you about, I'm afraid. But those reveals are going to keep putting out more and more little bits of information, more exposition, which I imagine, based on how well this first issue is written, are definitely going to be more of the show and don't tell variety. And they're going to bleed into the character himself, which is going to be a very nice thing. So you do get, right at the end, a little bit of character background for the Berserker. And it's been roughly how old he is. And all that working together with some rather stunningly well-done action sequences, I think could make this one an absolute standout comic book. If you are not into ultra-violence, I would say avoid it. I think this could be an absolute replacement for the rather famous, but no longer with us, Preacher Grievous Head Wound website, which tracked and illustrated every single Grievous Head Wound that happened in the comic book. There's already quite a few in this issue. And there's also some rather wondrous moments of him, the Berserker, ripping out somebody's rib and stabbing somebody with it. I mean, it's just entertaining more than anything else. It's got that ultra violence to the point that you can't really take it that seriously. It's almost Tarantino-esque in the over-the-top gore, but it's played out really nicely by a rather wonderful artist. John Garnett, I believe, is the gentleman's name. I'll just check that. Ron Garnett, yes, who does a mixture of Frank Miller, John Romita-esque kind of artwork, but considerably better than John Romita Jr. does, at least in this humble reviewer's opinion. I'm going to sum that up with one page. Anyone who looks at that and doesn't get a Frank Miller, John Romita vibe is not paying attention. Down to the way, look at the grip on the shoes, the use of shadow and inking, really nice there. Look at the hand that's down there, how it's wrapped in bandages, but you see more black than white. All of that just goes towards a style, it's advertising its style very clearly there. When it gets to the combat, there are moments where it cuts down to a monochrome, black and reds and stuff like that, and it kind of it's used to sometimes highlight the violence, sometimes basically dull you to it as well. Like there's something so gory and so malicious happening, but it's done in such a simplistic way that your eye kind of just focuses on what it needs to and then moves on. Like it's not making it so over the top that you are turned off by it, or if it's the kind of thing that you enjoy, you're not going to get that pure thrill from it. The artwork actually is done brilliantly. I'd say actually the artwork is my favorite thing about it. Don't get me wrong, brilliant ideas straight off the bat. I really like the concept for it. The action sequences are great, and some of the writing, like the dialogue between the two primary characters in the first issue, are done really, really well. There's very little I don't like about it, in fact. If I was going to pick one particular thing, it's the opening couple of pages of Keanu Reeves sat on a bench in the rain. When I saw that part, I went, ugh, because it's such a, I don't know, a cliche kind of thing, and Keanu specifically sat by himself on a bench. I just thought that was a bit too on the nose. Maybe that's done for the fans of Keanu. It's going to give them a little bit of a beat to go, I know what I'm getting into here. But from that point on, it becomes an absolutely spectacular piece of comic book fiction. It looks amazing and is genuinely enjoyable to engage with. Right, that's it for me for now. I'm about to do some invoices. Do not be surprised if another review pops up later on in the day. Until then, take it easy, stay safe, bye.